So in this video we will just be discussing the basic things about merger and acquisition, and let us start the video without wasting any time. This is a very important topic for BFD exams. You can expect a 115 marks question from this topic in every attempt. What is merger? Merger is simply when two or more entities ultimately come under common control. There is a common management and A and B merge together and work under that common management. What is acquisition? Acquisition is when one company buys another company. For example, there is an A company called acquirer and T company which is called the target company. A can acquire T. How can it do that? It can pay for target company shares and acquire all shares. It can issue its own shares. It can issue debt instruments against T company shares, and there are certain other methods also which will be discussed in questions. Acquirer. Acquirer is one who gets the ultimate control. Obviously, if A and T are two companies and A acquires all shares of T, A will be called the acquirer, the one who bought all the shares, and T will be called the target company, who loses control, whose shareholders are given the new shares of A company. Why do companies merge? What benefits do get there from it? Now, particularly this portion of this heading is tested in exams. So you must learn at least these three types of synergies. The reasons are increased market share and power. There is a market and there are two companies A and T. They have 20% share each. If they merge, they can hold 40% of the market share and they will come close to dictating the market. Economies of scale. Obviously, when A and B were producing at 20% of market share capacity, they may be buying less raw materials, and because of which their costs may be higher. Now, since after acquisition they are a single company and hold 40 or 50% of market share, they can bargain with the suppliers. Since they are buying the raw material in bulk, they can ask for discounts. Further, there can be other economies of scale. For example, large scale productions will reduce the overhead costs and so on. Now the synergy. This is very important and one must learn this. There are three types of synergies. First is called revenue synergy, which is due to increased market power. I expect all of you to at least read this portion from your book as well, since BFD is an open book examination and you may be required to list down the types of synergies and briefly explain them for 3 to 5 marks. So at least you must know where the synergy impacts are written in your book. The first one is revenue. How can companies get revenue synergies? For example, A is a DVD player manufacturer company and T is a CD manufacturer company or DVD manufacturing company. When they were independent, A was selling 2 DVD players and T was selling 2 DVDs as well. However, since they were not linked, they may not have been promoting each other's products. For example, if someone came to A to buy a DVD player, he may recommend the customer DVDs from T, B, C because he was careless. He did not care from whom the customer purchased the DVD. After the merger or after acquisition, when AT became a single company, they may recommend each other's products, and therefore maybe they can increase the total DVD player and DVD sales to 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 units, because any customer who bought A's DVD player was recommended to buy DVDs from T, and anyone who bought DVD from T was recommended to buy the DVD players from A. Cost synergies. Cost synergies is again the economies of scale. Very brief and interesting example is that, let's say A had a CFO and the CFO was paid, let's say, 4 lakh per month. T had a CFO and he was also paid, let's say, 4 lakh per month. After A decided to give golden handshake to CFO of T, and since the workload was increased, they said that let the CFO of previously unmerged A company be the CFO of A and T, and let him compensate 6 lakh rupees. So overall, if you see overall impact, previously my expense for CFO salary was 8 lakh, but now it is only 6 lakh. Therefore, I have saved 2 lakh rupees. Last is financial cash leg. When a firm with significant excess cash acquires a firm with great projects but insufficient capital, the combination can create value. Now, there is an exam case in ACCA which said that there are two companies, let's say A and T. A has 5 million rupees, but the market in which A is operating is entirely saturated. For example, it is producing, let's say, medicines, certain medicines, let's say medicine B, and they are the king of that market. A is the king of medicine B market, and they have cash reserves of 5 million, but there is no chance of expanding into medicine B further. The market is entirely saturated and entirely led by A. However, there is another medicine manufacturer T, which is an idea which is developed after research and development, certain key points about production of medicine C, and A knows that, but T has no cash to develop that product. So what happens is that T has idea, A has cash. If you have cash but you have no idea, you cannot be successful. And if you don't have cash but you have idea, you cannot be successful as well. So what both of them can do is that A can acquire T, and after forming AT, these 5 millions can be used to develop medicine C. So this is financial synergy. One company has a cash leg and the other has ideas. Further, these are the disadvantages of merger as an expansion strategy comparing with organic or inner growth. Now, as a company, if you have to grow, let's say there is company A and it has one factory. Now the factory is operating at 100% capacity and you wish to expand your business. You have two options. Option number one is to buy another factory, and option number two is to buy company T which has one factory which is operating properly. So if you yourself expand your business by buying another factory, this is called organic growth. And if you buy another company, acquire another company which had a factory which was properly running, it is called growth by acquisition. And yes, again, these points are asked in an exam question they ask you to differentiate between organic growth and growth by acquisition. So let us read the key points here, what it has to say. I will read just 2 points. It says that acquiring company may have less than complete information about the target company, and there may exist aspects that may be kept hidden. For example, A wants to expand. We are looking at the disadvantages, and A buys T, but it was unaware of certain facts about T's factory, and T did not tell him those facts. So he is at disadvantage because he did not have complete information, and complete information came into existence after he acquired T's factory. This is the reason why companies perform what is called due diligence. You may have noted that when a company is acquiring another company, auditors perform due diligence exercise. They evaluate the target company and give a report to acquirer and tell them whether he should actually acquire it or not, whether the costs and benefits both when weighted, and whether the benefits outweigh the costs or not. Acquirer may pay a huge acquisition premium. This is an interesting point, and it is tested in numericals of the exam questions as well. For example, there are two companies A and T, and they have only one share. It is not realistic, but just to establish an example, let's say they both have one share. A's share is for 5 rupees and T's share is for 10 rupees. This is total market value of both companies, since we assume that both companies have only one share. In exam questions, you will be required to calculate the premium which you should pay to T. Well, T's individual share is worth 10 rupees. However, T may not be willing, or T shareholders, when you have thousands and millions of shares, certain shareholders may not be willing when you place a bid to sell the shares if you do not pay premium. So for acquisition, you pay a certain premium, let's say 2 rupees, and you wish to acquire T shares for rupees 12. This extra 2 rupees which you have paid is called premium, which is over and above the current market value of T share. Now, you may have paid 2 rupees, but after acquisition you realized that the advantages that you are getting from T are of only rupee 1. So in fact, although you have acquired T, but you are at a net loss of 2 minus 1 or 1 rupee. We will deal with these type of cases and calculations of premium in exam questions, and yes, this is asked in computational questions as well. My previous video which I uploaded, Mechanist Company, had a premium calculation in part B as well. Okay, and then point 3 says the management of the acquiring company may not have the experience or ability to deal with the operations on a new larger scale, and number 4 is integration problems. So these two are a very general and self-explanatory points. We will deal with how exam questions will be asked, and a basic example will also be solved in the next part of this video.